Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome back to our economics class session number 2 today. And that is related with Indian economy between 1950 and 1990. 1950 and 1990. Clear. So far, we discussed about uh, the objectives of the 5-year plans, objective of the 5-year plans, and the importance of 5-year plan, why the 5-year plans are. Okay. So just open your textbook, everyone. And here we are at page number, you can see that 22. Okay, yesterday we discussed about the objectives of 5-year plans, basically four in number. What are they? What are they? What are the four objectives there? Or what are the
Growth,
aims? Yeah, growth,
modernization,
modernization, self-reliance. Yeah, correct. And like finally, equity. Okay, economic equity. Okay, so yesterday we discussed about growth and modernization and started self-reliance, right? Yes or no? Okay, repeating that, self-reliance. A nation can promote economic growth and modernization by using its own resources or by using resources imported from other nations. Okay, so we know that no country is fully enriched with the entire resources. So sometimes we have to purchase the needy things from other countries. Clear or not? Okay, the first 7-year plan gave important, I mean the first 7 5-year plan gave importance to self-reliance, which means avoiding imports of those goods which could be produced in India itself. So the first 5-year plan basically, for first 7 5-year plan, basically we avoided to import products to our country and give chances to the Indian producers to produce the things there. This policy was considered a necessity in order to reduce our dependence on foreign countries. Okay, so this program is to improve our independency. Okay, basically, okay, to avoid dependence on foreign countries. Okay, especially for food items. It is understandable that people who were recently freed from foreign domination should give importance for self-reliance. Okay, so it is too important that the newly independent countries basically they will give importance for self-reliance because they know the problem of foreign dependency. Okay, it was feared that dependence on imported goods supplies, foreign technology, and foreign capital may make India's sovereignty vulnerable to the foreign interference in our policies. So, the government thought that, or the national leaders thought that, if you are giving more importance for imported products, or depending other countries for the resources, okay, maybe those countries will utilize that as an opportunity to control our country or question our sovereignty. Okay, so the government took a decision. We are not going to import products from a number of countries for several years. Okay, basically for the first 7 5-year plans. Okay, so that's what self-reliance, giving importance for producing the products within the country. Next one, equity, economic equity. So now growth, modernization, and self-reliance by themselves may not improve the kind of life which people are living. A country can have high growth, the most modern technology developed in the country itself, and also have most of its people living in poverty. Okay, so next question is there. The GDP is growing, development is there, we are on the way towards development, but the resources and the income is not equally distributed among the people. Okay, the poor people still exist, and today also we know that poverty exists in our country. It is important to ensure that the benefits of economic prosperity reach the poor sections as well, instead of being enjoyed only by the rich. Underline that. So the basic concept of equity is nothing but, okay, wanted to provide economical benefits, okay, or privileges to the poorer sections of the people. Okay, everyone want to develop, everyone want to develop. That's what the idea behind equity. It is important to ensure that the benefits of economic prosperity, 1 minute. Okay, so that's it. basically the government wanted to provide the benefits of 5-year plan to the poorer sections of the society. Okay. Here you can see underline that. I will to underline that it is important to ensure that the benefits of economic prosperity reach the poor sections as well as instead of being enjoyed only by the rich. That's the idea behind equity, the goal equity. So in addition to growth, modernization and self-reliance, equity is also important. Equity is also important. So we are trying many things for achieving the growth. We are trying many things to what we can say using different technologies to modernize the production, basically the agricultural production and industrial production. But its benefits wanted to reach to the poor people also instead of reaching to the richer people. I mean the rich people. Okay. So every Indian should be able to meet his or his basic needs such as food, a decent house, education, and healthcare, and inequality in the distribution of wealth should be reduced. That's a program. Okay, that's the program of the government. What is that? Every Indian should be able to meet his or her basic needs such as food, shelter, clothing. Right or not? That's basic necessities. Okay, food, shelter, and clothing. Here it is, such as food, a decent house, education, and health care. These are basic necessities. Okay. And inequality in the distribution of wealth should be reduced. So inequality in the distribution of wealth, okay, should be reduced, which means the equal, almost equal distribution of income, almost the equal distribution of income and wealth. Let us now see how the first 7 5-year plans covering the period 1950 to 1990 attempt to attain these 4 goals and the extent to which they succeeded in doing so. So in this chapter, basically, we are going to learn about the first 7 5-year plans, that is between 1950 and 1990. 1990. Okay, how these plans are try to achieve these 4 goals called growth, modernization, self-reliance, and equity. Okay, so first of all, we are going to discuss about what happened in the field of agriculture. 2.3 says that what happened in the field of agriculture and how the 5-year plans tried to improve the agricultural production in our country. Okay, the first 7 5-year plans here. So you have learned in chapter 1 that during the colonial rule, there was neither growth nor equity in the agricultural sector there. So we already studied that agriculture sector that faced a stagnation. There is no development in the field of agriculture. Clear or not? So can anyone tell me what happened in the field of agriculture under the colonial rule? Tell me what happened.
Commercialization of crops.
Then basically they did use the technique called commercialization of crops there. So what happened there? Agricultural, I mean the food production reduced, that led to famines. Okay, food shortage and famines, number of people died. Okay, then the total agriculture sector faced a stagnation because the Europeans, I mean the Britishers, they are not that interested to improve the agricultural pattern in India. Okay, or improve the irrigation in India. Clear or not? As a result, agricultural sector faced a problem called a stagnation. There is no development in the field of agricultural production. Clear? Okay. So, and here, uh, okay, the policymakers of independent India had to address these issues, which they did through land reforms and promoting the use of high-yielding variety seeds. Okay, so 2 different ideas basically used by the government to improve the agricultural sector in India. First of all, land reform. What is that? Land reform. What do you mean by land reform? Land reform. So in the junior classes, we studied that basically in history, right? What is that? What is that? Huh? The Zamindari system, right? The right-to-area system. Zamindari system, right-to-area system. Basically, it is called to be the land settlement systems they are. Okay. So the Zamindari system means the British government give chances to or powers to the Zamindars to distribute the land for cultivation. Okay. So they are the owners of the land. Who are the owners of the land? The Britishers, and they are providing this land to the landlords, the Zamindars. Clear or not? And the Zamindars will redistribute the land and will provide to the tenant farmers. The tenant farmers will cultivate there and they have to pay, or they wanted to pay huge rent back to the landlords. I mean the what we can say, in the zamindar system, the zamindars basically. Zamin means land, dar, I mean the landlord. Okay, zamindars. And the zamindars always looted these farmers, okay, because the zamindars also want to pay the huge money back to the British people. Clear or not? I mean the British government, or they will create a problem for the zamindars. So always there is a problem persisted. Okay, so now the government is trying to remove this land, I mean, the landlordism, the zamindari system, or the right to hire system. Okay, the policymakers of independent India had to address the issue, which they did through land reforms. And here, land reforms means, okay, land was sealed. Okay, the government made some particular rules and regulation. As per that, okay, the government fixed a particular area of land, okay, for each and every landlords, no, or each and every individuals, no individual is able to possess land more than that. Okay, a particular area, it is fixed, it's called to be land ceiling. What is that? Land ceiling. Clear or not? More than that, it is a punishable offense. Okay, if any particular individual keeping more than the prescribed land with him, okay, it is considering as a criminal offense there. Clear or not? So it's termed as land ceiling, and the government redistributed the land to the landless farmers in the country. Okay, that is the land reform. Land reform. Next one, usage of high yielding variety of seeds. High yielding variety of seeds. What do you understand by high yielding variety of seeds? High yielding variety of seeds. Any idea? That also we studied in geography in junior classes. High yielding variety of seeds. Even in biology, you studied that. What is maybe the high yielding variety of seeds? So traditional seeds means, what are traditional seeds? The seeds that what we used for several years. Okay, clear or not? Or even before the independence, we use the traditional seeds that are available in our country. Clear or not? The productivity of such kind of seeds are very low. Clear. And the maturity period is nearly 6 months. 6 months. Okay. The difference between the sowing and harvesting season is nearly 6 months there. So introduction of high yielding variety of seeds means the productivity increased. And the period for maturity, okay, or the difference between the sowing and harvesting period, that decreased to 3 months. Okay, so instead of cultivating 2 times in 1 year, the farmers are able to cultivate for 3 to 4 times, 3 to 4 times from the same piece of land. They are able to produce more food grains. That's what high yielding variety of seeds are. High yielding variety of seeds. Clear or not? The seeds they are able to produce, or those seeds are able to produce more grains. Okay, more grains from the same piece of land in a single agricultural year. That's what high yielding variety of seeds. So two techniques that used by the government to improve the agriculture. One is land reform. The other is introduction of high yielding variety of seeds. Okay, now we are going to discuss about what is this land reforms. At the time of independence, the land tenure system was characterized by intermediaries. So I already told you that the landlordism, clear or not? Okay, landlordism, zamindari system, or such kind of system, basically, they utilize the tenant farmers. So you can see here that intermediate system is basically called as the zamindari system. Okay, Jagirdari system. Here you can see Jagirdar, etc., who merely collected rent from the actual tillage. Actual tillage means the actual farm base, the real farm base of the soil, without contributing to its improvement on the farm. Okay, so the zamindars or Jagirdars, they just provide the land for the tillage. I mean the farmers, real farmers. Okay, but they are not interested to improve the agricultural system. Okay, they are not interested to improve the agriculture system. They are not interested to provide good irrigation system. Okay, but definitely the people, they are collected rent from the farmers or the tillage. The low productivity of the agriculture sector forced India to import food from United States of America, USA. Okay, equity in agriculture called for land reforms, which primarily refer to change in the ownership of land holding. So because of this problem, okay, we forced to import food grains from America. Clear? Understand? Because of the food shortage that we faced at the first phase of the 5-year plans there. We faced a food shortage at that time, so we imported food grains here to India. Okay, so equity in agriculture called the land reform. So equity in agriculture field means nothing but the land reforms. Okay, which primarily refer to change in the ownership of land holding. We already know that land holdings is under the custody of the zamindars and jagirdars. Okay, just a year after independence, steps were taken to abolish intermediaries, abolish the landlordism or zamindari system or jagirdari system, and to make the tillage the owners of the land. And the government made the tillage, made the farmers the owner of the land. Okay, they redistribute the land to the real tillers of the land. The idea behind this move was that ownership of the land would give incentives to the tillers to invest in making improvements provided sufficient capital was made available to them. So why this land reform? If the land is given to the tillers directly, they will utilize the land as their own, and they will improve the agricultural pattern, and they will improve the land, it seems. Okay, so government use this technique to improve the productivity from Indian farms. Okay, next one, land ceiling was another policy to promote equity in the agricultural sector. So we studied about the land reforms and use of high yielding variety of seeds. Next one, it is land ceiling. Land ceiling was another policy to promote equity in the agriculture sector. This means fixing the maximum size of land which could be owned by the individual. Clear? So land ceiling, underline that. What is land ceiling? It is fixing the maximum size of land or area of land which could be owned by an individual. Okay, if an individual is earning more than that, it is considering as a crime. I already told you. Okay, the purpose of land ceiling was to reduce the concentration of land ownership in few hands. So landlords at the time of independence, landlords means the people basically under their custody. Even villages are there. Okay, not only 1 hectare or 2 hectare, 3 hectare land, even 2 3 villages are under the custody of some landlords. Clear or not? So it is not good, right? Okay, the land is concentrated at the hands of a single person, which means he is not that interested to improve the agricultural production, right or not? So the government did it. What is that? Land ceiling, and fixed a particular area for an individual. More than that, it is not possible to possess. Okay, clear or not? Is that clear? That's what land ceiling. Land ceiling. Okay, clear? Just read up to here. Make it fast. Please check. So write down the questions. What are the basic problems? Write down. What are the basic problem? What are the basic problems faced by Indian agriculture? Faced by Indian agriculture at the time of independence. At the time of independence. Okay. Explain the measures. Next question. Explain the measures. Explain the measures taken by the government. Taken by the government. Taken by the government to improve. To improve. Improve agricultural production in India. Agricultural production in India. Agriculture production in India. Next, third question. What is equity? What is equity? What is equity? Explain the objective of equity. Right? Or explain the objective of equity. What is land reforms? What is land reform? What is land ceiling? What is land ceiling?
What is land?
Ceiling. Ceiling. Land ceiling. Okay, next one. Next paragraph. The abolition of intermediaries. You know who is an intermediary, right? Okay. Intermediaries meant that some 200 lakh tenants came into direct contact with the government. They were thus freed from being exploited by the zamindars. Okay. So nearly 200 lakh tenant farmers, they came into contact with the government and they are freed from the zamindari system, or the freed from the intermediaries termed as the zamindars. They are the people, the zamindars, they are the people, they functioned between the government, I mean the British government, and the tenant farmers. So they are the intermediaries here. Okay, so land ceiling that removed the zamindars or intermediaries here. The ownership conferred on the tenants gave them the incentive to increase output, and this contributed the growth in agriculture. So government provided a lot of monetary help, or the help in the terms of money. In terms of money, basically you're using a term incentive to improve the agricultural production. However, the goal of equity was not fully served by abolition of the intermediaries. Okay, in some areas, the former semindars continued to own large areas of land by making use of some loopholes in the legislation. Okay, so the land reform or land ceiling act, it was not 100% successful. Okay, it is not 100% successful. They used different loopholes. What is loopholes? What do you mean loopholes? Loopholes. Hmm? A provision to escape from a rule or a law is termed as a loophole. Clear or not? Huh? A particular condition that we are able to create to escape from a crime or a trouble. Okay, clear or not? That basically mentioned in the constitution. It is termed as what I say, loophole. Clear. Example: Amalraj is the land owner, or is a zamindar. Under his custody there are 1,000 hectares of land is there. Clear or not? 1,000 hectares of land, but the government sealed, Amal Raj can keep only 50 hectares of land with him. Clear or not? Then what Amal Raj will do? Huh? Amal Raj can provide this land for various people as his binamis. What do you mean binamis? Binamis. Hmm? Binami system means? Huh? So Amalraj wrote the land, I mean, divided the land for you people. Okay, all you 24 people, 50 acres for everyone. I mean, 50 hectares for everyone. Okay, so you are able to possess the land ownership, right or not? But who the real owner of the land? It is Amalraj, right? Right? So you are the close friends of Amalraj. So the land is Amalraj land only, but the documentation in your name, right or not? Or his relatives' names, right or not? So literally speaking, so what is that? The land is owned by Amal Raj only, clear or not? But the documentation is in different names, but the real owner is Amal Raj, clear? So that is a loophole. That is a loophole, clear? Clear or not? Understanding or not? Okay, so simple idea. Okay, so the landlords use these loopholes and continued the landlordism. There were cases where tenants were evicted. Evicted means, what do you mean evicted? Forced to move away from the land, and the landowners claimed to be self-cultivators. Okay, in some areas what happened, the landlords forced the farmers to move away from their land, and they become, or they acted as they are the real cultivators or real farmers, claiming ownership of the land. And they claimed ownership of the land, and they even got it. And even when the tillers got ownership of land, the poorest of the agricultural laborers, such as sharecroppers and landless laborers, did not benefit from land reforms. Okay, So the land reforms is there, it was there, but the very poor farmers, I mean the sharecroppers, those who cultivating, I mean they are working in the land of other people, they not got any benefit from these land reforms. Clear or not? So these are the drawbacks of land reforms. Right, a question: what are the drawbacks of land reforms in India? What are the drawbacks of land reforms in India? Okay, answer is not completed. Continuing. The land sealing legislation, okay, so the government created a rule to seal the land, also faced the hurdles, also faced a problem. The big landlords challenged the legislation in the courts, delaying its implementation. So landlords filed various cases in different courts, okay, against this land sealing act. So that become delayed. The land sealing process become delayed. They use this delay to register their land in the name of close relatives. I told now, right? What is that? The Binami idea, Binami system. Close relatives, thereby escaping from the legislation. Clear or not? They started registering their land under or for their close relatives. So they escaped from the legislation or that rule. The legislation also had a lot of loopholes which were exploited by the big landholders to retain their land. So the big landowners, what they used, loopholes in the rule to get back their land, Okay, so land reforms were successful in Kerala and West Bengal because these states had governments committed to policy of land to the tiller. Okay, here we want to understand one condition. In Kerala and West Bengal, this land sealing act functioned properly. Okay, you know what is the reason behind that? Do you know what is the reason behind that? That is because of a particular political party, CPIM. Clear? Communist Party of India, Marxist. Clear? So both these states were that time this was ruled by Communist Party. Communist Party. This party is basically a what kind of party? Socialist party. Okay, communist party means their idea is basically socialism and communism. Socialism and communism, they basically stand for or stood for the development of the poor people, clear? So in Kerala and West Bengal, these communist governments, they use this rule, I mean the land legislation, clear or not, or land sealing act, and clearly distributed the land, okay, to the poor tenants, and even sealed land from the landlords, confiscated land too. Okay, we can say like that also. Kerala and West Bengal, because these states had government committed to the policy of land to the tiller. Unfortunately, other states did not have the same level of commitment, and vast inequality in land holding continues to this day. So this is the drawback of the land sealing act or land reforms in India at that time. Is that idea clear? Is these ideas are clear or not? So it's answer for a question, what are the drawbacks of the land sealing act or land reform in India? Land reforms in India. Okay, just 2 minutes, just read everyone. Okay, so we will start one more topic today. That is the Green Revolution. Green Revolution. So first of all, we discussed about land reforms. Land reforms. Okay, land reforms. Basically, that helpful or the government tried to improve the life of the poor farmers in the country and improve the agriculture production. Clear? And we know that we studied that. Okay, this just a partial successful. It is partially successful, right? Okay, clear. And the next idea, it is the green revolution. We already know that is a HYV seeds, high yielding variety of seeds. Okay, basically that is coming under the green revolution topic. Green revolution. At independence, about 75% of the country's population was dependent on agriculture. Okay, 75% of people in India, basically they are connected with the agricultural production. Productivity in the agriculture sector was very low because of the use of old technology and the absence of required infrastructure. Okay, nearly 75% of people, they are working in agriculture sector, but the productivity is too low. Why it is so? They used old technology, primitive technology, and there is no modernization. Clear or not? There is no modernization, and there is no perfect infrastructure to help agricultural production. Okay, India's agriculture vitality depend on the monsoon, and if the monsoon fell short, the farmers were in trouble unless they had access to irrigation facilities. Okay, which very few had. Clear? So basically, Indian agriculture at that time and today also, it is called as the gambling of monsoon. Gambling on monsoon, which means if a good rainfall is there, that year the farmers are able to produce good products. Clear or not? Okay, good agricultural production will be there. Okay, if a monsoon is fell short. Okay, what will happen? The farmers will face a number of problems because they are unable to cultivate because irrigation facilities are not that developed. Today also we can say the same. Okay, at that time it was so serious condition. Okay, it is a really a gambling on Indian monsoon. Clear or not? Indian agriculture is termed as a gambling on Indian monsoon. Okay, because there is no best or good irrigation facilities developed. The stagnation in agriculture during the colonial rule was permanently broken by the Green Revolution. So we use this technique, the Green Revolution. Okay, it's a change that made by the government to improve the agricultural production. Okay, this refers to the large increase in production of food grains resulting from the use of high yielding variety of seeds, especially for wheat and rice. Okay, write the question. What is Green Revolution? Explain. What is Green Revolution? Explain. Next question. Write the answers and submit by Monday morning. Monday morning. Okay. The use of these seeds required the use of fertilizer and pesticide in the correct quantities as well as regular supply of water. So, what is the importance of high yielding variety of seeds? These seeds are able to produce more grain. Okay, basically wheat and rice. But one trouble is there. What is that? Want to use modern fertilizers, pesticides, and insecticide in correct quantities as well as regular supply of water also necessary. The application of these inputs in correct proportions is vital, very important. The farmers who could benefit from HYV seeds required reliable irrigation facilities as well as the financial resources to purchase fertilizers and pesticide. Okay, the farmer, those who using this high yielding variety of seeds, basically they want better irrigation facilities and financial resources, credit, okay, to purchase fertilizers and pesticide. Simply sowing the high yielding variety of seeds and waiting for the product will not be there. Okay, we want to assist it by providing good irrigation, fertilizer, and pesticides, insecticides, and everything is needed. Even money required for the farmers. As a result, in the first phase of the Green Revolution, approximately mid 1960s, okay, nearly 1965, up to mid 1970s, the use of high yielding variety seeds was restricted to the more affluent states such as Punjab, Andhra Pradesh, and Tamil Nadu. Okay, clear or not? So the use of high yielding variety seeds was restricted, okay, to the states basically where water availability is less. Okay, the states, what are the states here? Punjab, Andhra Pradesh, and Tamil Nadu. But Punjab, we cannot say that water shortage, but various other reasons are there. The use of high yielding varieties seeds primarily benefited the wheat growing regions only. In the second phase of the Green Revolution, mid 1970s and mid 1980s, the HYV technology spread to a large number of states and benefited more variety of crops. The spread of Green Revolution technology enabled India to achieve self sufficiency in food grains. We no longer had to be at the mercy of America or any other nation for meeting our nation's food requirements. Okay, so up to here is enough today. Just read that fast. So there's a trouble here. One minute. You can see approximately mid 1960s and up to mid 1970s. Okay, the use of high yielding variety seeds was restricted to the more affluent states of such as Punjab, Andhra Pradesh, and Tamil Nadu. So in that states only they used it. Clear or not? Okay, restricted to that states. That's what. Okay. So that's the error. Just understand, use of high yielding variety seeds restricted in those three states. What are they? Punjab, Andhra Pradesh, and Tamil Nadu. Okay, clear or not? Because of various reasons. Clear? Further, the use of high yielding variety seeds primarily benefited the wheat growing regions only. Okay, so primarily it is for the wheat growing regions. Later, in the second phase, that provided for almost all the states. Almost all the states there. Just read and understand it properly. It's error that made here. Let's check it. Okay, so the last question is, what is that? Explain the green revolution, right? Okay, so no need to write that answer. So just to read up to here, and we will discuss that in the next class. Some more things we want to discuss. Okay, then only you are able to write that perfect answer. Okay, so all other answers, just find out the, all other questions. Just find out the answers from the textbook. Perfectly, the answers are there in the textbook. Okay, learn it and write it and send that before the Monday morning. Okay, guys, thank you very much. The time to wind up this class. Thank you very much. We'll meet in the next session.